All right, Mike Kim. I'm here with Sean Osborn from Thinking Big Coaching and Thinking Big Podcast. And today we're going to talk about masterminds. I met you as of today's filming 6 years ago. We've been in a mastermind together that long. And I have just seen your career just explode, your business explode. Now, you were super successful before you went into coaching and content creation and marketing and sales and business
Right.
development. You grew a tech company, sold it and exited, yet you exhibited the humility to be able to learn from others who maybe came from different walks of business and their professional life, even their own life. And that's a pretty rare quality, man, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, right. And a big part of that was the mastermind.
Yeah.
So, had you ever been part of a mastermind before that? Had you heard of the concept?
So I'd not really been around them too much. I had done things in the past that were somewhat like masterminds. Like I would have some business partners that we would get together and we would kind of brainstorm things, but nothing was ever really formalized. It was never, scheduled. It was just random, same type of thing, but it was never really in a structured environment. So you can never really take it to its full potential. I've noticed over the past, I don't know, 2 to 3 years that people are calling everything that they do a mastermind, whether it's a course, whether it's a workshop, whether it's a 1 day seminar, and they're calling it a mastermind. And it is not what a mastermind is. Describe what a mastermind truly is.
Yeah. So for me, I heard of the concept of the masterminds from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. So the way I define it is that a mastermind is a peer advisory group where people set aside intentional time and an intentional focus in order to help each other grow, make each other better. In my case, I have masterminds with entrepreneurs. So we are working on professional and personal growth within the mastermind. There's a lot of collaboration, networking, partnerships that happen as a result of it. But for me, it's really important that people build strong relationships. And when you earn the right to be in relationship with somebody, then you earn the right to speak into things like their business and their personal life. It's not just a bunch of how-tos. Let me show you what I'm doing. It's like, no, let me kind of let my guard down and share a little bit about what my struggles are. What do you guys see here? What do you guys and gals see here that I can maybe work on? Or how did you get there? One of the things I always tell people about masterminds is you want to be in a room where your dreams are everyone else's like reality.
Right.
So, oh, you want to write a book? Well, guess what? Half the people in this group have written one. So it's kind of like normalized. So to me, it's a peer advisory group where you're moving forward together, like with intention.
Yeah. And I think that's an important thing. The other thing that I've noticed within mastermind groups and our the ones that you run and stuff, there is a time frame it takes time to gel with people. It takes
Yeah.
time to really get to know and trust and like each other. And it's not something that you can do in a month. It's not something, sometimes it takes 2 months, 3 months for for people to gel together where you could, to me. And that's when the real power of the mastermind comes out, is once you truly know and trust each other. And that's when the ideas, that's when we can start challenging each other.
Yeah. And that trust is built through time, right? You can't just microwave trust.
Right.
And you can't microwave these relationships. I also coach people who are getting on the hot seats. Here's how to ask a good question. Here's how to present a challenge to the rest of the group so that you allow them to speak into it. And sometimes as a facilitator, I'll just step in and be like, hey guys, I think we should all just use the group as a focus group.
Right.
Let's just round robin everybody. Sean's got a question today. Why don't we all share like the biggest move you made that moved the needle the biggest on, like, let's say your like lead generation for your business. And then you can just sample everybody's opinions and insights. So yeah.
Yeah. And, you talked a little bit about being kind of the lead of the mastermind group. I think it's whoever is facilitating a mastermind group, I think is extremely important. You want someone who's facilitating your mastermind group that is where you want to go, that attracts the people that you need to attract in order to get your dream or whatever you're doing moving forward. So as a facilitator, what do you think the biggest, the biggest challenge is as a facilitator to a mastermind?
So I think that lack of structure and the intent might be there, but then everyone gets busy. And if there's no skin in the game, if there's no commitment from the other people to show up, it just kind of falls flat on its face. I was in a couple of free masterminds when I first started my business, and these guys were killers. I mean, if you looked at the roster, you would have been like, this is amazing. Well, the people who put it together didn't want anyone to pay. And I was like, I would rather pay because it's going to make everybody actually show up and commit. So what happened, we had a few calls, like 2 or 3. By the 4th one, half the group didn't come. By the 5th one, like a quarter. By the 6th one, I think it was just dead in the water. Yeah. Like this thing's on, it needs CPR or it's just on a DNR. Do not resuscitate this.
Yep.
And then we never got to really come back and connect again.
Yeah.
Because it was just sort of like not a great taste in our mouths.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, to me, it is literally part of our DNA. If we don't see value in something, if we don't see that, we don't pay attention. We don't actually do it. It's like you hear it all the time. You got to pay in order to, and I truly believe that if you don't put forth the money and you don't have skin in the game and you're going to lose focus. You're not going to have people's full attention. There's just no way around that.
I think as the leader too, the facilitator, you have to hold other people accountable for that. Like if people show up to our calls like 5 or 10 minutes late, I'll text them and be like, hey, first, are you alive? Like, I mean that. I'm going to assume the worst, that like, I would just want to make sure you're all right. If you are, I want to make sure you honor the commitment, not to me, but to the other people in the group.
Yeah.
And when people see that kind of intent and leadership, and these are the standards by which this group is running, they do buy in, because even high performers want to be led.
Yeah.
Right. Even high performers want to be led. This is going to sound very basic, but to me, I just look at it like I have to really care about the people who are in there. I want to get to know them, because out of everybody in the group, I, as the facilitator, have the most unique viewpoint. I have the best seat in the house in that regard. I'm almost like a coach, like, or manager of a baseball team or a basketball team. I see where the connections can be made. I see how these folks can kind of play together, and I can see where there's a lot of synergy in this group, but I can also see that that person over there has insight that can help this person over here, even though they don't know that they can. You also have to make sure you don't get in the way.
Right.
And you are not stepping in on every single hot seat, or you are the one who only has the answers. And to your point before, that's what happens with a lot of masterminds that are really just coaching groups, or their group classes. As far as, people are concerned in the group, they could care less who else is in the group.
Right.
They just want access to the facilitator, quote unquote, but they're really the teacher or the guide, right? Or the expert or the guru. In a mastermind, the relationships have to be it has to be cross-relational, just as strong as it is with the facilitator. When you look back on your first couple of seasons in the mastermind, especially those early years,
right?
You were launching a podcast, which is now just exploded. It's in the top 20 now all the time on business?
52 countries last year, top 20 entrepreneurial podcast. I can't believe that.
It's amazing. You're speaking on all these big stages, Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, like household names in our industry, or in the online marketing and coaching industry. When you look back on the masterminds, you've been in them long enough where the initial sparks and chemistry have faded. It's almost like a relationship. It's like a marriage, right? Yeah. And you just learn to show up and super consistent and consistent growth. Was there a time where you ever felt like, I won't be offended? You're like, I've outgrown this group, or I need to move on, or I need to find some other people?
So I don't know if it's because of my past, people who follow me and know me. It's like I was, homeless at 15. So I always come into a room and into a group as if I'm still at the lowest, and in a good way. It's like, I know that no matter what room I go into, no matter what group I'm with, there is always something I can learn. I don't care what level they're at. I don't care what they do. There's always something that I can learn. And I think if you go in with that type of a mindset, that you won't ever get tired of it. You won't, because and it's true. I always learn and again, I think a mastermind group is not something that you might learn something immediately. Like to me, you're not going to join a mastermind group and a month later do a 6-figure launch and do all this. It's not. It's an investment in you. It's an investment in your mindset. It's an investment in how you're going to start thinking over the next few years. Is how a mastermind group, to me, really, really works.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like a lot of things are caught more than taught. And even as a facilitator, I see how you approach things and the drive and the hunger and the goals that you have. And the same for like a lot of the other people that are in the
Yeah.
groups. And I look at that, I'm like, man, what would Sean do in this situation? And if I hadn't seen you for months or years at a time
Yeah.
kind of do things your way, like I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And so there are actually times where even though I've facilitated the groups, I'm like, alter ego. I am now Sean Osborn. How would I approach this opportunity? How would I go after this stage? How would I go after this connection and
Yeah.
try to facilitate it? I've learned so much from you. Even just you always joke like, I'm lazy. I don't want to do this stuff like, the same things. So you've leveraged AI because you came from that tech background. And so I'm like, I need to think like Sean does. I need to think like I know and am really good friends with a CEO and founder who exited a company. Not many people can say that,
Yeah.
right? That's stuff you just can't buy.
No.
And yet you keep pushing and you keep growing. And as everyone grows, it just gets bigger. And everyone in the group is learning. They're all reading books that the others aren't. Then we share them. We're going to events that the others aren't. But this happens all the time, even with us, right?
Yeah.
You go to an event, I go to an event, we come back and I'm like, oh my gosh, here's what I learned. Here's who I met. Here's who I connected with. Here's a framework that really helped. We just did that earlier today. And if you think about it, it's just like a cloud that's just getting bigger and bigger. That's what the mastermind,
Yeah.
like the mind looks like. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And what happens when a cloud bursts? You just get breakthrough.
Yeah.
You have breakthrough ideas. You can move fast. You can move quickly. Everyone's platform is growing. If you're in business, like your businesses are growing. And so it just becomes so much easier. I've coached a lot of people through the years, one-on-one and in group coaching programs, but there's a different energy when you're going to meet with those, whatever, 10, 12, 15, however many people are in your mastermind, and you show up the next call and you didn't get your work done. Like you're kind of like, oh man, I don't want to be the one who's like in the rowboat, like, and I got my paddle stuck in the water. I'm just dragging the energy down.
I'm going backwards with the
Yeah.
paddle.
And they're all paddling forward, right?
Yeah.
So there are moments when you're tired and you're burned out and you just like, I just tell people, look, just don't drag your oar. Lift it out of the water. We'll carry you for a little while. We've had people go through divorce, death in the family, sickness. Like we've seen, because we do life together in so many ways,
it's a
right?
family.
So, somebody goes down or they're struggling with something or they've got a bad launch or they got hit with a tax bill or something and they're like, all right, I need to launch something in the business. Can you launch it with me? Like, great, let's go make some money. Let's make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
Man, those are the things that people don't talk about, but they happen. And I don't know what I'd do without
Yeah.
that
I
kind
couldn't.
of community.
And what's funny is, so you look at, or if I look at any successful person in our industry, any industry,
Yeah.
they have never done it alone.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of my big epiphanies over the past 4 years. It's like, I can't do it alone.
Mhm.
It's impossible. And you look at groups, like you look at groups that are, let's say, above us. Like, I mean, you look at, Tony Robbins with Dean and with Russell and Stu McLaren. It's like, they were in mastermind groups down here.
Absolutely.
They rose together.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you see these groups of people that have been in mastermind groups it's like, it raises all boats. Everybody in that group grows and gets bigger and bigger.
100%.
Yeah.
I've been hired by some of the leading experts in many different fields, health and wellness, B2B, coaching, mindset. I've not met a single person at the top of their game, at the top of the game, that has not been in or is still in a mastermind group.
Yep. It's impossible.
Impossible.
It's one of the, if you follow Napoleon Hill, it's one of the laws of success.
Yeah. So to that point too, it's like when people say, oh, I joined this mastermind, I got nothing out of it. Okay. There's either a problem with the mastermind or there's a problem with you. And that's honestly how I look at it.
Yeah.
So when I join masterminds, and I join masterminds all the time still, I ask myself, what would I do if I was just starting and just as hungry, 10, 12 years ago when I was starting out? How would I interact with the people in this group? How would I show up? How would I try to create relationships with them?
Yeah.
How would I like to collaborate? And in many cases, the mastermind isn't working because it's not really a mastermind. is a group coaching
Yep.
group. So
Yep.
I want to encourage those of you who are watching and listening, really discern, is this truly a place where there's a cross relational connection that's emphasized by the leaders of the mastermind? Or is it just, hey, we're going to call it a mastermind. There's going to be 100 people here and no one's ever going to really get to know you and you're not going to really get to know anybody.
Yeah.
You're on your own, but here we are in our big, like get together. And
Right.
it's just like Mr. and Miss Guru walks through and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't really think that's a mastermind. You can learn from it, but if that relational connection isn't
Right.
there, I just don't see that working.
You're not tapping into the mind. You're not tapping into the mastermind. It's like, if you sign up for a mastermind group and you go in and there's 50 people in it, it's not a mastermind.
Yeah.
There's no way. And that's why, so like your masterminds, my masterminds, it's like we have a cap of 10 or 12 people in it because to me, it is that critical. If you get any more than like 12 people into a mastermind group where each person's doing a hot seat every, let's say 8 weeks or so, if it's any bigger than that, it is not a mastermind.
You don't get to
can't
know anybody.
Yeah.
Over the years, some people like you, like we've been in masterminds together for literally years.
Yeah.
Right. And so we've grown our businesses together. We've seen the change and the transformation. And then when we meet up in person, there's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think people really need to evaluate that when you're looking at a mastermind group. And I can tell you this without a doubt. I started in I did mastermind groups before, but they weren't official mastermind groups. They were just kind of like get-togethers and stuff. But with yours in 2018, 2019, and just not only how much my life has changed and how much growth I've had, but you as well. It's like, it's amazing how everybody in the group is lifted up and does wonderful.
It's so funny. Like, so there's this guy, Michael, in our group, Michael and Sandy Sheridan, and they're just having a killer year. They'll break 7 figures for the first time. And I was like, hey, how did this happen for you guys? Like, this is super inspiring to everybody in the crew. He's like, oh, you told us like 2 years ago on one of the mastermind calls, like, what's your highest offer right now? And then just add a 0 to it. You told us to do that. So we did it and we brainstormed. I was like, I completely forgot I said that.
Yeah.
I was like, I better follow my own advice. And they're living out the thing that I just kind of threw out into the ether.
Yeah.
I forgot about it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to reclaim that for myself. So as the facilitator who used to do that, and I'm like, oh, I better eat my own medicine.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing one of our own people in our community do it. It's like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And that means everyone else can do it. And if you have that mindset, the sky's the limit. Also, you have to have the mindset, right? Like, I know that this can be hard. You do not have to be the smartest person in the group. You do not have to be the wealthiest, the most successful person. I'm not the wealthiest person in our mastermind groups. I don't know who it is, but it's definitely not me, right? Like, there are some people who've done really, really well, but the value that I bring, that I know, that I've finally begun to own, is that I have the ability to bring good people together and facilitate a healthy community. And that, to the members in our community, is really, really valuable. And they're like, how do I do what you do there? Right. So I just want to say, if you're thinking about facilitating, starting, running, growing a mastermind group, the best thing that you can do is join one and see what you like, see what maybe doesn't fit exactly the way you want to do things, chew the meat, spit out the bones, build it the way that you want, learn from the groups that you're in, be very, very observant. But don't get in your own way and think that you have to have, 7 figures a year or be the most successful person in the group in order to facilitate it. That is not true.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I like being in the groups where I'm the lowest on the totem pole, because I know I've got the most potential to learn and grow. And every room you can learn, but you should ask questions too. It's like when you go into a mastermind group, the first question I would ask the host, the facilitator, is, are you in mastermind groups?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to go to a mastermind and they're not in masterminds and they're not doing it, you run, because it's not going to be an effective.
Yeah. Coaches need coaches.
Yeah.
Right. All the good leaders that I know in any facet of life, they're getting trained. They're around others. And you might say, well, then who sits at the top? That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
It's not just who's at the top. It's, are you accessing that collective hive mind? Are you with other people that are pushing each other to grow together?
Right.
That's the thing that nobody has a monopoly on, which is the best mind out there.
And if you do join a mastermind group, I can tell you this: do the work, do what's said. Because I remember, you had mentioned a little bit ago, but when I first met you, God, it was like, no, 2018 or so. You told me two things. You said, Sean, go start a podcast. He knew I talked with you about what I did and kind of my goals. And the first two things that you said were start a podcast and start growing your list.
Yeah, and you did it.
And it's
I
like,
figure
so,
it now.
so I didn't wait around. Literally, I think it was 8 days after we talked, my podcast launched 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, so when you're in a mastermind group, do the stuff. That's the most important thing to do is like, do it.
Yeah.
Don't just go and then blow things off.
And your podcast is like infinitely more popular than mine now. And I couldn't be happier, honestly.
Yeah.
So like, hey, that's how it works. It's not a scarcity mindset. There's more than enough for everybody. And it makes it so fun to journey together.
Yeah. We celebrate everybody's wins.
Yeah.
Regardless. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you.
You got it.